Hello dear students, we are going to talk about the details of preparatory phase of glycolysis. The preparatory phase of glycolysis is also known as the priming phase because it requires an input of energy in the form of ATP for every molecule of glucose that will be catabolized. So the blood sugar levels are kept approximately at constant levels and any changes in the blood glucose levels are harmful for the body. यानी ब्लड की शुगर के लेवल्स बॉडी में कांस्टेंट ही रहते हैं और अगर इसमें कुछ भी चेंजेस हो जाएं तो वी कॉल इट आइदर हाइपरग्लाइसीमिया, मीनिंग व्हेन द कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ ग्लूकोज इज मोर इन ब्लड एज कंपेयर टू द फिजियोलॉजिकल लेवल्स, देन इट इज नोन एज हाइपरग्लाइसीमिया, एंड if it reduces than the physiological levels, then it is known as hypoglycemia, and both of the conditions are not good for the body. Therefore, any glucose that we ingest, it has to be converted into some other form so that it does not raise the blood sugar levels. And one way to consume the ingested glucose is to break it down and produce energy from glucose. And this takes place via the metabolic pathway known as glycolysis. So before we proceed towards the details, let's see how glycolysis was discovered. So the idea was put forward by Arthur Harden and William Young in 1906. They had the concept that the inhibitor of proteolytic enzymes stabilize the glucose fermenting enzymes in the yeast extract. यानी उनका ये ख्याल था कि अगर प्रोटियोलिटिक एंजाइम्स को इनहिबिट किया जाए तो दिस प्रोमोट्स द ग्लूकोज मेटाबॉलिज्म. So this was the first step towards the discovery of glucose metabolism. So what they did to confirm their hypothesis was that they added the blood serum into the yeast extracts. यानी उन्होंने blood serum को yeast के extracts में add किया. और ऐसा क्यों किया गया? Because they thought that the blood serum contains the inhibitor of proteolytic enzymes, and when they added this to the yeast extracts which contain glucose, they found that glucose metabolism was stimulated. But they did another experiment, and in that experiment what they did was that they added the boiling serum into the yeast extract. Boiling serum से क्या होगा? Boiling serum means that the temperature has been raised, which would inactivate the inhibitors of proteolytic enzymes. And this time what they found was that the boiled serum was as much effective as the unboiled serum to stimulate the glucose metabolism, which means that there is something other than the inhibitors of proteolytic enzymes in the serum that is responsible for the initiation of glycolysis. So अब इसमें पहली बात ये है कि what was the factor which they were identifying as the product of glycolysis. यानी yeast के एक्सट्रैक्ट में ऐसी क्या चीज़ थी जिसको आइडेंटिफाई करके वो ये कहते थे कि ग्लाइकोलाइसिस या ग्लूकोज का मेटाबॉलिज्म इनिशिएट हुआ है. That thing was a phosphate ester. यानी वो एक phosphate ester molecule था, and they used to call it Harden-Young ester, and it was finally identified as fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Meaning fructose 1,6-bisphosphate को identify करके they were able to say that the metabolism of glucose is going on in the yeast extract, and this was identified in both of their experiments. And when they looked into the details, they found that the factor which was causing the phosphorylation of glucose, it was the inorganic phosphate. And that was the time when it was found that the organic esters and the phosphate anhydrides are important components of biological system, and they are playing significant roles in the energy producing pathways of the biological system. So coming to the first step of glycolysis, which is the phosphorylation of glucose, what happens in this is that glucose molecule, which is a hexose sugar, it is phosphorylated at the position number 6 in the presence of ATP by the enzyme hexokinase, and it results in the formation of glucose 6-phosphate molecule. So this glucose 6-phosphate, which is the first modified form of glucose, can be used either in glycogen synthesis. Glycogen is the storage form of glucose, or it can be used for the production of other carbon compounds by the pentose phosphate pathway, or it can be degraded in order to produce energy by means of glycolytic pathway. So what we can see here is that the reaction requires ATP, and the hexokinase enzyme, like many other kinases, requires magnesium ions for its activity. This is because of the fact that the true substrate for the enzyme is not ATP but the complex of magnesium and ATP. यानी आपकी बॉडी में ATP एक्चुअली मैग्नीशियम ATP कॉम्प्लेक्स की फॉर्म में एग्जिस्ट करता है, एंड द रोल ऑफ मैग्नीशियम आयंस इज दैट दे शील्ड द नेगेटिव चार्ज ऑफ फॉस्फोराइल ग्रुप इन ATP, because of which the terminal phosphorus atom becomes an easier target for the nucleophilic attack by hydroxyl group of glucose. यानी इससे क्या होगा कि ये हाइड्रोक्सिल ग्रुप ऑफ ग्लूकोज ATP के टर्मिनल फॉस्फोरस एटम पे न्यूक्लियोफिलिक अटैक करेगा और उसके साथ बाइंड करके इट विल गिव राइज टू द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ ग्लूकोज 6-phosphate. Hexokinase is a soluble cytosolic protein, meaning it is present in the cytosol of the cell, and same is true for the other 9 enzymes of glycolysis. Another thing is that hexokinase is present in all the cells of the body, क्योंकि करीबन हर सेल में glycolysis होता है. But in the hepatocytes, there is another form of hexokinase which is known as hexokinase 4 or glucokinase, which means that hexokinase and glucokinase are the isozymes. So what are isozymes? These are 2 or more enzymes that catalyze same reaction, but they are encoded by the different genes. And let's revise that what are kinases. These are the subclass of transferase enzymes, and kinases catalyze the transfer of phosphate group from the high energy phosphate donating molecule to the specific substrates. And the reaction which is catalyzed by the kinase enzymes is known as phosphorylation, which means that the substrate has gained a phosphate group and ATP molecule has donated that phosphate group. In order to be used for the production of energy, glucose 6-phosphate must be first isomerized into fructose 6-phosphate. So why are we saying that it has to be isomerized? Because both of the sugar molecules have got same formula, but glucose 6-phosphate is an aldose sugar, whereas fructose 6-phosphate is a ketose sugar, meaning it has got a ketone group. And we will see this in the next picture. The process is catalyzed by the phosphofructokinase enzyme, which is also known as phosphoglucose isomerase enzyme, again in the presence of magnesium ions, and the reaction would involve the formation of an enediol intermediate. We have studied before that enediol is an alkene enol which has got a hydroxyl group attached to both of the carbon atoms, which are forming the double bond with each other in the alkene molecule. So you can see here glucose 6-phosphate, which is an aldehyde sugar because it has got the aldehyde group CHO, whereas fructose 6-phosphate is a ketose sugar because it has got a ketone group, meaning carbon has got the double bond with oxygen. And the important point is that this isomerization reaction has got a critical role in glycolytic pathway, because what is happening in this step is the rearrangement of the carbonyl group and the hydroxyl group at the carbon number 1 and the carbon number 2. So there are 3 steps for the phosphohexose isomerase reaction. First one is the opening of pyranose ring of glucose. Second is the isomerization of glucose to fructose through the formation of enediol intermediate. And third one is the closing of fructose ring. So as the first step, glucose 6-phosphate binds to the enzyme in the form of ring, and the ring is opened by push and pull mechanism of the histidine residue of enzyme. This residue would protonate the oxygen of carbon number 5, and lysine residue deprotonates hydroxyl group of carbon number 1 and creates the open chain. So as the second step, the proton or the hydrogen of carbon number 2 becomes acidic, meaning it can be released in the solvent as a proton, and it undergoes the nucleophilic attack by the glutamate residue of the enzyme. So the nucleophile can abstract or remove this hydrogen ion, deprotonate carbon number 2, cause the shift of electrons, and lead to the formation of a double bond between two carbon atoms, accompanied by the addition of a proton to carbon number 1 and the formation of a cis-enediol intermediate. So you can see there are two carbon atoms which are having a double bond, and both of them are bound to a hydroxyl atom, meaning this is an enediol. And because both of the hydroxyl groups are lying in the same plane, so this is a cis-enediol. Now there will be a general acid catalysis reaction by the same glutamate, which will cause the shift of electrons accompanied by the removal of proton from the oxygen at carbon number 2 of the enediol and the proton gain to the oxygen of carbon number 1. This forms an open chain of fructose 6-phosphate. And next, what happens is that the pair of electron is transferred from oxygen at carbon number 1 to carbon number 2, and the resulting ketose receives a proton from the solvent, which results in the formation of the ring form of fructose 6-phosphate. And thus the reaction is completed. And this brings us to the end of step number 2 of glycolysis.